This episode of the Super Hype Gaming Podcast is brought to you by Pangea. We were never more united than when we all lived on one continent, and this supercontinent is bringing you 15% off on all Pangea print underwear if you use the offer code SuperHypeGaming. So thank you to Pangea. And welcome everybody. This is episode 7 of the Super Hype Gaming Podcast. I am your host, Michael Flanagan, and I am once again joined by my good friend Habari-sama. Welcome.
Let's be honest, at this point I'm basically the host.
Yeah, probably. Habari, if you could live in any time period, where would you live?
As far back as possible, so I can go to Pangea, of course.
Oh, okay.
There's no other option.
Pangea was a great place. There was lots of good stuff to see, lots of good stuff to do. I think they had more improv clubs open back then.
Yeah.
So
anime was better too.
Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard that for sure. I think about this question often. I think I would go back to like medieval Europe, like at the height of the Crusades, and I have this all planned out, right? So I would go back. Like, if I could drive through the time machine with, like, a car and just, like, a bunch of shit, I would drive back and I would, like, drive my ass to some castle. And, you know, back then, all the kings, like, told everybody, they're like, yo, I am ordained by God to be your king. Mm-hmm. And so, basically, I would just, like, roll up to some castle, like, whip out a shotgun, and be like, this dude's full of shit. Shoot him in the head and be like, yo, I'm God. And I'd like show them all this. I'd show them all this technology. Like I'd bring out like an iPad and I'd show them videos. I'd be like, "Your world exists in a world like this," and I tell all the people that I was God. And if you showed up to that time period with like modern technology, like people would believe that you're God. You know, they would believe you.
Either that, or you're like a witch or something, and they're about to fucking murder you.
I mean, I feel like if you're swinging around fucking swords and shit, and you see some guys get like brains get blasted out with a shotgun in like 2 seconds, you would not fuck with me.
I mean, but it might be. I don't know.
It would be great because like I would be God. I'd tell people that I was God, and then I would just get whatever I want. Like I'd have sex with like 6 women at the same time every single day.
I don't know if I ever want to do that.
I'd live in like the bougiest like castle ever. It'd be great.
What a fucking asshole.
I would be an asshole, but it's fine.
Hey, do you, boo? You right.
I'm just looking for a comfortable life, you know? And if I could be God or if I could pretend to be God in, medieval Europe, I think that'd be good. I think that'd be great.
Now you right. Live your best life, man.
I try to. So what have you?
Pangea is where it's at though. So
yeah, Pangea is the shit. Make sure you jump on those Pangea print underwear. Get them for your ladies, get them for your men. Everyone wants to slap Pangea. So if you got Pangea on your ass, you're gonna get slapped. Mm-hmm. And I think everyone wants their ass slapped. So what have you been up to? What have you been playing? What have you been streaming? What have you been jerking off to? It's No Nut November, so hopefully nothing.
Oh. Yikes. No Nut November, you say?
Yeah, that's a thing. You participate, right? Dead silence. Dead, complete fucking silence. Okay.
So let's share if you have checked out my Twitter recently. Twitter.com/Habari-sama. But my first comment, like November 1st at like 12:06, was I failed.
What was the timestamp on that? I failed.
Ooh, hey, that's personal. Don't you worry about that.
Like 1 a.m. in the morning. Shit. Damn it.
Gotta let the world know. Hey, I done goofed. I'm honest though.
At least you're honest about it. But what have you been up to? Other than watching the porns.
Hey man, it's art. Okay.
Well, Overwatch 2 is coming, so there's going to be plenty of fresh porn pretty soon.
Oh my god, you're super right. That's the best. The porn is the best thing to come from Overwatch, and that's because it existed before Overwatch ever really existed
Yeah,
as like a video game.
the porn is the best thing to come from Overwatch, and Randy Pitchford's like plea for porn for Battleborn is the best thing to come from Battleborn.
Oh no!
Did you see that when? Did you see that Randy Pitchford was like pretty much just like, please make porn of my Battleborn characters. I want to see the Mushroom Man fuck, please.
That's like wild that he would even think that he needs to do that. Okay, well, let me ask you this: do you think you can gauge popularity of something based off of how much like porn of it there is?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So Overwatch is pretty popular. You know,
Overwatch is pretty popular. Yeah.
3D
Battleborn,
Overwatch.
Not very popular.
What?
Mass Effect, pretty popular. I'm trying to think. Like what's not popular? Little Big Planet, not very popular. Not a lot of Little Big Planet porn. You don't see Sack. You don't see Sackboy fucking a lot. So it's
That's
it's not very
unfortunate,
popular.
really. When is he gonna get his nut? I'm just saying.
I mean, he's got a zipper, so you think there'd be lots of porn of it, but
Right.
anything with a zipper. Did you ever watch that movie 9?
I don't think I have.
It was based on this short, which was actually really good and kind of creepy. And it was basically like a bunch of sack boys, but they were like taller and more slender, I guess, than Sackboy. Sackboy's kind of a fat fuck, but they were like these little sack people, and they existed in like this post-apocalypse world, and they had like a human soul in them or some shit, and there were these machines that would like hunt them down and steal the soul. It was very weird. I think Tim Burton did the movie. I'm not sure. It was some guy did like a short film and put it on YouTube or something, and then Tim Burton kind of took that and turned it into a movie. But I don't know how we got on that. Basically what I'm saying is there's not a lot of 9 porn, so we know it's not very popular. That's my point.
Seems legit. It'll get there one day. You just gotta keep at it.
Gotta keep at it.
Gotta believe, really.
Yeah, well, I'm going to ask you for the third time because you've refused to answer me, but I'm interested in what you've been streaming.
I've been streaming. We beat BioShock Dishonored last week, right?
BioShock Dishonored?
Oh my god, I'm having a fucking stroke already.
Did you just wake up? Is this what happened?
Hey, all right? Yes. So we beat BioShock Infinite.
Was that 10-minute break is that something you had to take care of? Were you fucking finishing off? Were you finishing something off? Were you finishing a video off or something?
May have been finishing making a pot of coffee off.
Oh, okay.
These last like 2 times I've been on, I've been like, bruh, I'm gonna fucking die. I'm gonna die. I'm so tired.
Yeah, I drink I always drink like the Starbucks iced coffee right before the podcast. It's great.
Need to get some of that one of these days.
Yeah, you should. It's very good.
I believe you. We beat Infinite though, right? And it was a lot funner, I guess, to go through it again with everyone else and like have the commentary there and whatnot. I'll admit the first time I played it by myself, I really didn't enjoy it, and I still didn't enjoy the parts that I didn't enjoy last time. Like we both talked about, there's some themes to that game that are implemented but never really utilized, and you're just like, why is this here? Why did you make me feel uncomfortable for no reason? And that game does that pretty well. Then it ultimately gets pretty confusing for most people. But it was still pretty fun, regardless of like what I thought of its overall plot, to experience it with everyone else.
Yeah, that's always a plus. Like, and I know you said that BioShock Infinite is not necessarily a bad game, but like less than perfect games do kind of become more fun when you're experiencing them with other people, and you can kind of laugh at some of the dumb shit.
Yeah.
Did you play any of the DLC?
I haven't got it yet. So maybe we'll toss that on the schedule at some point if I do get it. Right. But at the moment we are playing Dishonored. We were actually closer to the ending of Infinite than I remembered. We got through the ending like in half a session. So the next part of that stream was just starting up Dishonored, which I always feel kind of weird about doing. Starting a brand new game during another stream, you know?
Yeah.
Uh,
I guess it takes like some particular planning to not have that happen, but I usually just end the stream. I mean, I've had streams where it's like when I finished Claire B, it was like I finished, all I had left was like the lab at the end. And so I finished in like an hour and 15 minutes and was like, okay, bye guys. I'm out.
No, I definitely feel that. I've recently, like, I would feel bad if I did that. Also, that was honestly a really good day. Got a couple of raids, a lot of people there, met some really nice people.
That's good.
Have
you played Dishonored before?
I had only played Dishonored up to like 30 minutes, and I know a fair bit about certain elements of it. So, I don't know. I'd say this is definitely a fresh new playthrough for me with a little bit of knowledge, is all. So yeah, I'm really excited. I'm really excited about this, and I've been having genuinely like a lot of fun going about this game. This is something that now I feel like, why didn't I ever play this? Right? I had this game, I just didn't play it.
It seems like the type of game for sure where it's just like kind of like stream bait, or it's just like you can create just some goofy, weird stream moments with some of the mechanics in that, which is cool.
I'm kind of a fun time.
I'm kind of the same way. I played like the first hour of that game, and I liked it, but it didn't really grab me enough to keep me around. And I was playing it on PS3, and it was kind of like, okay, I definitely feel like this game like doesn't perform that great on PS3, maybe, but.
Oh really? I can't remember. I thought it was all right, but.
Yeah, I mean it was okay. It wasn't like a travesty or anything, but it was definitely like I would probably have more fun playing this on PC.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's the case with a lot of games, especially nowadays. They're really bridging the gap between. Say, I'm sure you know what I mean when I say that there are certain games that feel like they were made to be played with a controller, right? And it's like that's fine because you can just use a controller on PC.
Yeah, and there are certain games that are definitely like this is a PC game.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Like Divinity Original Sin works pretty well on PlayStation 4, and I enjoyed that game. I need to go back and finish that game. But it's definitely like this is a fucking PC game.
Oh yeah, dude. Another example of that, Darkest Dungeon. That's a fucking PC game.
Played that on Vita, and it was doable, but the menus were the menus were a little cumbersome. It's for sure.
No, I bet.
Combat was fine, but yeah, the menu stuff was like in the town specifically. The menu stuff was kind of weird.
Makes sense.
That sounds cool. So how far into Dishonored are you?
Honestly, not too far. I think we're really like what would I say? We're going to the Golden Cat, so we're like the second main story mission in, if anything.
Okay.
Once you get your cool mask and you start unlocking powers and stuff, we're like the second mission in. There should still be a nice bit to go.
Yeah, for sure. Are you still doing your platinum Nuzlocke?
I am. I totally am. And really excited to continue on that, actually. It feels like it's been almost like a week since I've played Pokemon. actually. And like I feel like in that time I end up forgetting where I am a lot. It takes like 10-20 minutes. It comes back to you, but yeah. Like I really like Pokemon. I'll admit I am liking playing Dishonored a little bit more just because that's all like new to me,
Yeah.
But Pokemon is always fun. You can never go wrong with some Porky Man.
You can never go wrong with some Porky Man.
Never go wrong porking men.
That's correct. Well, that sounds fun. That sounds exciting. Everyone should check out your channel at
Hell yeah.
Hibarisama _ on Twitch. Check you out. You're kind of a fun dude, I guess. I have like 6% fun when I watch your streams, which is more than
the same about you, man.
it's more than none, right? I mean, you could have 0%.
That's true. That is more than none. Not enough, but
It's
I'll
never
take
enough. It's never enough.
Right.
Well, for me, let's see. I wrapped up SuperHypeGaming.
Yeah.
Which was fun. I definitely took some notes if I do this next year on things to change. I think the week-long business trip kind of like deflated me a little bit on that. I definitely feel like I came back from that trip and was just like deflated, which is kind of unfortunate, but hopefully if I do this again next year, that won't happen. That was just kind of weird timing. But yeah, I finished up Claire B in RE2 Remake, and I streamed. So Thursday we had costume day at work, Wednesday we had costume day at work, because Thursday was actually Halloween, but some people were going to be out of town on Thursday, so we decided to do it on Wednesday. And I definitely had the best costume. I'm not just being facetious, or I'm not just being full of myself. I definitely had the best costume. So I dressed up as Larry David.
I saw that.
Yeah, if you don't know, Larry David is the creator of Seinfeld, and also the creator and star of Curb Your Enthusiasm. And he's kind of a big influence of mine, I guess. I definitely relate to a lot of Curb episodes sometimes, which is not always a good thing, but yeah, it was pretty funny. I had like the khakis and the lame like sneakers and the sweater and the blazer and the fucking bald cap and shit, and it was pretty good.
I saw that. I thought it was really nice.
Yeah. It sucks. Like, it was kind of like rainy and dreary that day, so I didn't get a lot of like great pictures because the lighting was really weird everywhere. Because when you get that when you get that fucking picture that's like, dude, this is a fucking picture. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't really get one of those, but that's all right. I mean, I guess I could dress up as Larry David again. I don't know for what event I would do that for, but it's not a very hard costume to put together.
Do it for fucking whenever, because Larry David.
Yeah, that's fair. So I did that, and then I streamed Wednesday night as Larry David. Well, in costume. I didn't do the whole stream in character, but so that was fun. And then Thursday night on Halloween, we did some Castlevania stuff. Played through some of those games. Some of my favorite games of all time. And I found out that you've never played Castlevania 1.
Is this you like trying to call me out on air?
Yeah, I'm blowing your ass up.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, you're right. I never played Castlevania 1. Yeah. Forgive me, senpai.
I took a note of that. When you said that, I wrote that down.
You've never played Metal Gear Solid 3. So, there's
fair.
a large part of me that's like, are you really wanting to talk?
That's fair.
We're both flawed.
Yes, this is true. So yeah, I played some of those games, had a great time, and then yesterday, Saturday, I did a 14.5 hour Extra Life stream.
Yes.
So if you're unfamiliar, Extra Life every year has a game day where a bunch of people stream for some people do it for 24 hours. I think if I had like multiple people like with me physically, I could do it for 24 hours, but just by myself, like there's no way. But I did go for 14 and a half hours. We ended up raising $175 for Children's Healthcare of Atlanta, which is local for me, and they do a lot of great stuff. I told a story about how there's a radio host here in Atlanta called Jen Hobby, and she has a show, and her daughter, when she was like 8 months old, was diagnosed with cancer, and she went to Children's, and so Jen would tell her story on the radio of what she was going through, what her daughter was going through, all the treatment stuff, and all the stuff that she and her husband and her other daughter were dealing with, and she ended up beating cancer, which is really great. So I know that Showa, Children's Healthcare of Atlanta, does really great stuff. So I appreciate everyone that donated. Shout outs to Blue Chromed, who donated like over $100, and was with me on stream, in chat for most of the 14 and a half hours. He was there almost all day. That was really great. So shout outs to him. And it was really fun. It was definitely one of my favorite streams that I've done so far. I think we had a good gimmick. So I did like side scroller games. So we played a bunch of side scroller games. I started with a full playthrough of Bloodstained: Curse of the Moon, which is my favorite Bloodstained game. Did that. We did a full play. It is, yeah. I think Ritual of the Night is like a 7. But dude, Curse of the Moon is like a 10.
Very nice.
But did that, played some Shovel Knight, played like 10 minutes of Trine.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, Trine was okay. Trine is definitely one of those games where this is like a PC game.
Yeah.
And I definitely feel like that game is made for co-op and probably isn't nearly as fun, solo as it is with friends and stuff. But I checked it out. I wanted to check it out for a while, and we checked it out. So I did that. Did a full playthrough of Mega Man 2. What else? What else did I play? I played some more Castlevania.
Yeah. You played Shovel Knight as well.
Yeah, I said Shovel Knight.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know you don't listen to me when I'm speaking on the podcast, but...
That's not... You're not wrong, though. Fuck you.
Yeah, I'm not wrong. We've said this before, that I'm always right. And then we switched it over to the Switch, and played some Switch. Played some SMB3, Super Mario Brothers 3, which is the best Super Mario Brothers game. Did not play Super Mario Brothers 1 because that is. I don't want to say it's a bad game, but I talked about how it's not my favorite.
It's dated as fuck.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I understand like the historical significance of Super Mario Brothers 1, and I understand that it's an iconic game, and I agree that it is an iconic game. But man, that game looks ugly as fuck. The music is like, I know the music is like iconic, but honestly, the music in that game is kind of grating to me. But dude, Super Mario Brothers 3 looks hot. So we did that. I played some Ninja Gaiden, and that game gave me kind of the feeling that RE6 gave me, where it was just like, there's just pure craziness happening at all times. Mm-hmm. That game has the most random assortment of enemies that I feel like I've almost ever seen in a video game. You're being attacked by like Arabian swordsmen. Yeah, you're being attacked by like football players and like doom slayers and fucking birds and hawks and hummingbirds, and it's wild.
That's fire.
But that was fun. Did some Mario Maker levels. I played some of Chat's Mario Maker levels. That was really, really fun. And then played some Tropical Freeze. Oh, I played... Blue wanted me to play OG Donkey Kong, and so I did. Mm-hmm. And that was really fun. We were basically just like talking shit on Billy Mitchell the whole time. Billy Mitchell, if you're unfamiliar, is like a famous Donkey Kong world record holder for a bit until I guess he cheated or some shit. There's a whole documentary about him called King of Kong. He's the guy with the long hair that wears like the American flag fucking
Yeah.
tie. And he's like
was for Donkey Kong.
Yeah, it's for OG Donkey Kong, and he's like not allowed. He's not allowed to compete ever again. He's like banned for life. So I'm not familiar like with what he did, but I am somewhat familiar with him. So that was fun. But yeah, that was a really good stream. Really glad that I did it, and it's kind of the last. Basically, I'm kind of going to be winding down the streams for a bit for the end of the year. I'm going to try and stream mostly on Fridays and Saturdays now instead of like all throughout the week because I need some of those weekdays back. I need to get back to the gym. Like, I basically haven't worked out for all of October, and I'm feeling the pudge. I'm feeling the big pudge. So I need some of those weekdays back so that I can do that. What was that?
Maybe it's all the fucking Taco Bell, huh? You degenerate.
Well, what it is me coming home from work, and like, okay, I need to stream in like 30 minutes, so I need to eat something in like 5 minutes. So I'm just gonna have like a plate of microwavable mini tacos.
Oh no,
which is just not good. I haven't been eating Taco Bell that much. I have toned that back a little bit, but the mini tacos I have not toned back. I still need to do that. But yeah, I'm gonna be streaming mostly on just Fridays and just Saturdays now. And my next stream, the next game that I plan on streaming is MGS2, so I'm really looking forward to that.
I am too, actually. I've legitimately been looking forward to that since MGS1, so it's been some time coming. Cause
yeah,
MGS2 was actually the first one I played. And I have been like readily waiting for this. Like, oh my god, he gets to see where Raiden and like all Raiden's goofy shit, you know.
Yeah, I'm excited.
This is gonna be great.
MGS1 was honestly probably my favorite game that I've streamed so far. Not just because of the game, but you know, you and some other people in chat showed up and like gave me like the perfect amount of guiding and the perfect amount of tips to make it to where it was like I'm still playing the game myself, but it's not just like, you know, I'm not completely stumped. And that was really special, and chat really helps me appreciate that game and play that game and have like the most fun that I could possibly have with that game. So I really loved that stream, and I'm definitely looking forward to MGS2. So look forward to that. I'm probably going to take next Friday, Saturday off streaming because Death Stranding is coming out, and I want to play that game privately. And I want to talk about that game, you know, on the podcast and just experience that. So there's going to be a lot of Kojima in the month of November for me, but it'll be good.
Man, I want to see if you come out like the same way reviewers have been. Like it's like it's really good in the fact that it like everybody, like no one knows how to just say it's a weird fucking game. It's a weird game.
Yeah, nobody knows how to say like it's bad or it's good. It's all just like, look, it might be good, but here's the thing. You have to look, like there's stuff about it, and I mean, like, look, listen to me. Like, it could be good, or I mean, you know, it might be bad, but just look, you know, it's
right.
It's like, okay, what are you saying? I don't know what you're saying.
Oh man, that has me interested. I want to know what you
think.
Because
I'm in.
That's hilarious.
I think it might end up to where I've been on media blackout for this game for a while, and so I think kind of like, you know, what I'm experiencing with Indivisible, where a lot of people are kind of down on Indivisible, but I'm still like really enjoying the game, just because my expectations weren't there, and so my expectations with Death Stranding are not that high. I'm not like hyped over the moon for this game. I just want a game with some weird ass characters and some fucking weird ass world and some fucking weird ass cutscenes. Like even if like it's even if it's slow and boring, like I'm in for that. I'm in for a weird game that is not like any other game. Um, I'm in for it, and I'm in for a game that's slow and takes its time too. Even if it's kind of boring, if it creates a mood and if it creates a vibe, then I'm totally in.
Yeah, I feel that. It apparently accomplishes that pretty well. I
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely want to know what you think about it.
Well, I will
Because
let
it
you know
definitely
next
sounds
week when I come out from
weird
the
ass
vault.
game. So you're just gonna like shotgun it, huh?
Yeah, I'll probably
You
play
just
it like all day when I get home Friday, all day Saturday.
I don't know if you're gonna beat it. Yeah, we'll see.
No, I probably won't beat it. I've heard it's like pretty long actually, but
Yeah.
uh, I'll get a good chunk into it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Definitely make some type of opinion by then.
Yeah, I'll have some kind of opinion. I mean, look, I might have an opinion, but I mean, it could be like it might be there, like the opinion, or it might kind of just not. I mean, look, I could have an opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's enough.
I like that. You should have kept going.
Yeah, it's a good bit. So now it's time for a bit that's called SAT prep. Are you ready?
Oh, yeah, let's do it.
So SAT prep is a bit where I give my podcast guest a vocab word, and you're tasked with using that word at some point during the podcast convincingly. So if you use the word convincingly, then you win. If you don't use the word convincingly, if you fail to use the word correctly, or if you forget to use the word at all, then you lose. So if you win, you get points. If you lose, we're going to close the podcast on you reading a hokey video game line. So are you ready for SAT prep?
You know what? I'm not, but let's do it. It's just like school.
Okay. Your vocab word for this podcast is precarious.
Oh no.
Precarious. Okay. Write that down. Don't look it up. Last time when I did this with Blue, I told him the word, and then I immediately heard fucking keys going. I was like, "Are you fucking looking that word up, you bitch?"
I'll be honest. Of the few times I've ever heard this word used, I think I have a vague understanding, but I'm probably off.
Okay,
right?
That's fair.
We'll see though.
So with that, we can start the podcast proper and move into our first news story, which is back to the Fallout cast. Because the premium subscription service that we talked about last week is having some Fallout. So apparently there's a class war happening in Fallout 76 now. Where people who pay for the premium service, apparently they get marked with some kind of thing that says like, hey, this is a premium member. And so everybody else is taking it upon themselves to hunt them down and target those players and grief them.
Yeah. And that's amazing.
It is. It never stops with this game. It really does not ever stop.
It's the gift that keeps on giving to people who don't play it.
Yeah, I mean,
on those who do.
I definitely feel like I've gotten more enjoyment out of just keeping up on these stories than actually ever checking the game out.
Oh, definitely.
But it's all of these stories. It's like, how did you have a full team of people and nobody said, hey, if we, people are pissed off about this game, and if we like show everybody who's paying for this premium content and make that easily available and put an icon on that player, like, obviously they're going to get targeted, right? I mean, that seems obvious to me. Maybe it's not obvious, but
yeah. Hey man, gotta rep that. Okay, so that whole badge thing in and of itself, everybody loves to be like, "Hey, you should be able to be proud of blah blah blah." That's marketing, right? Because you should be proud that you bought the thing so you can yakety yak. But in actuality, it's really there because, oh look, well this would be their hoped intention. Oh look, cool badge. How do I get that? But instead, people are like, "I know how you got that, and you're trash. So I'm going to grief you."
I'm just waiting for like the news story that comes out that says like Fallout 76 pulls your ethnicity from your like Bethesda account, and it posts it on your player icon somehow, and so a literal race war has taken place in Fallout 76.
I'm hoping for eventually, what with all the, I don't want this to happen, but so it was like somebody literally came to my house to beat me up because I bought Fallout first. I want to hear the news of that so bad. Someone found out where I lived and beat me up.
Local man murdered for being Fallout first subscriber.
Yep, it's gonna happen. It's gonna be really unfortunate.
You better paint the red X on your door if you're not a Fallout 76 subscriber, because they're coming for you.
Mm-hmm.
Lay the salt down. Isn't that what they did in like biblical times? They like laid the salt down or some shit.
Are you talking about Passover, my boy?
I'm not very religious. I have to admit.
Yeah.
What did they do? Didn't they like spread salt on their door or some shit?
It was the blood of like a lamb or something. It was like to protect your firstborn.
Well,
because otherwise, he was gonna get it. And let's just put it that way. Rip. Yeah, but that's what it was, you know. And then Spirit, it passed over the whatever. That's not what this podcast is about. Or is it? Is this super hype religious podcast now?
No, I don't want to be put in that category. We talked about this. It's the same category as the Sonic category. Ironically enough, they're
super
like
hype Joe Rogan podcast.
They're both the same. They're both the same category. Oh God. No, I could do that. We'll never be at that level. Trust me.
Oh, I'm sure.
I will fight tooth and nail to keep us from being anywhere near quality.
We could get Snowden on here. And, you know, you're right. You're right. Fuck quality. That's lame.
Yeah, I want to know what Snowden feels about Fallout 76.
I want to know what browser Snowden uses to. Never mind.
Mr. Snowden, which Overwatch hero is your favorite, please?
Winston, of course.
Yeah, I like that monkey fuck. He's a good guy. Okay. So our next story is back to Death Stranding, but Death Stranding has been announced to come to PC in early 2020, which is weird because early summer of 2020. Which is strange because I feel like Sony just came out like a couple weeks ago and said like Death Stranding is exclusive to PlayStation, like definitively, because there was a lot of speculation that it would basically, since Andrew House and Kojima like made that video where they're like, hey, we're teaming up. People have been speculating that whatever Kojima has been working on will also come to PC, and you know Sony's been a little. You know, elusive about whether or not it'll also come to PC. And then I thought they said definitively, like, nah, it's just going to be on PS4, but evidently not because it's coming to PC.
Was that funded by Sony?
So Death Stranding is made on the Daisama engine, which is made by Guerrilla Games. So like the engine that Horizon Zero Dawn is the same engine that Kojima is using for Death Stranding. So that's an in-house engine. I mean, that's a first-party engine. And they definitely gave him like funding and stuff, I'm sure. I think the specifics of that relationship are not super clear, but I mean, obviously they gave him some assets and stuff to work with.
Okay. Then it definitely is pretty interesting for it to be going to PC.
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, get ready for like. I feel like the mods for this game are going to be great. You know.
oh, you're definitely seeing Norman Reedus' penis.
Yeah, for sure. I want the model swap where it's a full grown baby with a baby sized Norman Reedus in the tube.
Oh yes, and it does the like thumbs up to you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's gonna be cool.
Also, like, who else can we put into Death Stranding? Because right now we've got Conan O'Brien is in Death Stranding. Jeff Keighley is in Death Stranding. I think, can we get Todd Howard in Death Stranding? Do you think we can make that possible?
No. Get
No.
Todd Howard out of everything. We need less Todd.
Todd Howard.
Okay.
Todd Howard is actually already in Death Stranding, and the mods are going to be to remove him from the game.
Please. Please do. It just works. Get him out. That's definitely interesting. You know, I gotta say, I've already seen people go, see, and this is why I don't buy Sony things. You guys lied to us. I thought it was going to be PlayStation. It's like, why the fuck do you care? What do you care? What platform a video game is on if you're able to play it?
Yeah, it doesn't really matter.
People are over here like you betrayed us. Like this,
You betrayed us. Good lord.
It's okay.
So I'm reading that, you know, Sony is publishing the game on PlayStation 4, but 505 Games is publishing the PC release. So
That's interesting. You know, after like Terraria, like a part of me is like, how do these guys still exist? But then again, they made Payday 2 at one point super scummy. So right now, I guess, but
505 Games? Was that them that did Payday?
yep.
Okay. All I know from 505 Games is that they do publish a lot of like smaller indie games.
Yeah, they do. They really
like
do.
They published Indivisible. And they published I think it was called Adrift, which is that like space game where it was basically like the movie Gravity. Which was really, really cool. I really enjoyed that game. And see, I didn't know that was like the people who did Payday. Was it?
Yeah.
Did they just publish it, or are they the developers of it too?
Ooh, now you got me wondering.
I guess
Now
I can
you
look
got
this
me
up.
thinking. Yeah. Let's see.
Yeah, I know the developers of Payday had that infamous Overkill is who actually developed Payday.
Yeah.
They're the ones that are like basically like fuck console gamers, right?
Yeah, I think so. There was that one. Payday 2 was incredibly busted on console at some point. I actually, my friend Lapis, all of his save data, all the money in his vault, everything I deleted somehow.
Oh, good lord.
And since then, whenever I'm like, yeah, I'm playing Payday 2 or whatever, he's like, don't you ever mention that game to me ever again. I can't even be like, oh, dude, come on. Like, that's a lot of time down the drain, you know? And it feels bad. And there's nothing he could do to recover it. Look at this fucking Payday 2 VR. Just getting. Never mind. That's too dark. That's interesting, though.
Yeah. Death Stranding on PC. Are you going to play this game on PC?
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't really have any interest in playing this game at all.
Okay. That's fair.
I mean, I'll see. I actually do have to look at some gameplay before I do, but from what I've seen so far, maybe not. It would be a watch for me.
Yeah, that's
Definitely.
fair.
Like right now, I'll watch.
Yeah, I feel that. There's definitely some games where I'm just like, I'm interested in this, but not even just to play. Like, I just want to... I'll watch someone else play this game. It's fine.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure it's
okay.
good, though.
So that one's that. Next up, we got some cancellations. First, we have NBA Live 20 is canceled. This is the NBA game from EA, so not like the 2K, not from 2K, but the other NBA game. And this has happened before where NBA Live was canceled. Yeah, for the fourth time this decade. This is from Polygon. For the fourth time this decade, Electronic Arts has, at the last moment, put its basketball franchise on ice. So they've done this before, where they've basically like not talked about the game. You know, you expect these games to come out like every year around the holiday, or around November and stuff, and they just basically don't talk about it and then say, "Yeah, it's canceled," which is crazy. It's crazy to just like, it's crazy for like a sports game to just be like, "Yep, not doing one."
Yep.
Because like even if they released it and it was bad, like it would make money, right? Like they would make money from this,
right? I would 100% assume, honestly. Sports ball games always make money because people love sports balls, even though the games are normally fucking garbage.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's kind of different if you have like two choices. My understanding is that NBA Live is significantly worse than NBA 2K. So it's like, hey, why would you? I mean, you have a choice. It's like, why would you even go for that? But
that's kind of saying something. If it's significantly worse.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't play the b-ball games, but I'm not a b-baller. But
I wouldn't be surprised if it was though, either. Honestly.
Yeah. So it seems like EA is going to be focusing on next gen for their NBA Live series. I mean, I just wonder too. It's like how much do those licenses cost? Because they're not just getting like the licenses for these teams and these players for free. Like they're paying for this, and so to pay for it and then just not put out a product is crazy. I mean, to me, in my opinion.
That's true. But I mean, I don't know. A lot of places pay for IP, licensing and whatnot, and sometimes just sit on them forever. So I feel like that's not the weirdest thing in the world, but it's definitely pretty weird. One would assume you would want to do something with that at some point, Otherwise, you literally are kind of just either you're wasting money or you're just straight up stopping other people from using it, which in this case doesn't really apply because plenty of people use NBA, license stuff. Yeah, shit. That's kind of strange.
Yeah,
like, I don't.
Like I said, this is the fourth time that they've not released an NBA Live game. So
What were the other times?
I'm trying to see. I know it happened in like articles that I'm reading is not very like. So NBA 17 was the last time it happened. I remember this happening like recently. So 2 years ago this happened, and then it looks like NBA 12 was canceled, and one other one, which I don't see. But yeah, I expect this to happen maybe again.
Yeah.
But they'll probably be like, hey, here's our new next gen version. It's the same. It's on the same engine.
I mean, I think that's pretty interesting. At least, they're focusing on one specific thing. Maybe it'll be a launch title for PS5 or fairly soon, because I feel like there's at least normally like some sort of sports game that comes out, and some heavy like story driven game when the new cycle starts.
All the sports games
something for everybody.
All the sports games are usually there, day and date. Especially they're coming out. The consoles are coming out in for the holidays, and so a lot of these games usually come out around that time. I think Madden comes out like in August or something, but I'm sure there'll be a version of it, there. If not at launch, then pretty much shortly after launch. But I don't know, dude. I was looking at footage of like Madden 19 or Madden 20, whichever one came out this year. I guess it would be Madden 20 because they do it like for the year after, right?
Yeah, they do.
And the last Madden game I played was like Madden 2005, and I was watching this footage of Madden 20, and I was noticing like the exact same fucking animations, like the exact same, like they're unchanged from
I bet.
from fucking Madden 2005, and it was like there's specifically there's an animation where one of the I'm bad at position names, but one of the like pass defenders or some shit. I'm gonna get blasted. People who watch football are like, it's fucking called this, you nerd. But there's an animation where like they squat down a little bit and they like kind of lift their pants up. And I remember that animation from 2005 like very specifically because it was kind of a weird animation. And it's still there in Madden 20. It's the exact same animation.
It is really weird. If one thing could be updated and made better, you would hope it's the fucking animations, and that's for any game. But like, this is a sports ball game. You know,
they don't have time. I mean, don't forget that these games are made in like 9 months.
Yeah,
you know,
these things like they should look fluid. Like it's a live sport. Come on.
What they need to do is just turn the games into a live service. You know, but they'll never.
Don't fucking say that.
They'll never do it because like they're losing too much money. You know, they make too much money from releasing these games yearly.
Yeah, I mean, they already have the slot machines and shit in them, so why not do whatever? Really, at this point, do whatever.
So moving from that, the next cancellation is PlayStation Vue, which is not a huge service. I think some people really valued the service. So this is basically like a TV service, you know, specifically from PlayStation. But that's shutting down effective January 30th, 2020. That is going to be shutting down. And I'm reading here that apparently it never generated over 1 million customers, so maybe there won't be too many people that miss the service, but
I'm not surprised. There's too many other things, too many subscription services just in the world in general, you know, but
yeah, I think this makes sense. I think this makes sense for Sony to do to kind of cut some fat, you know, in preparation of their next console launch.
It's definitely not a necessity in anything they're doing. And if it's really not earning that much money, there's literally no reason to keep it. I mean, I say that, and it's unfortunate for those who were like, hey, I use that. Sorry. But, you know, your $10, $12 a month or whatever it may be doesn't really cover the bills. So,
yeah. I don't think that show Powers was really bringing anyone in.
It's unfortunate. It seemed interesting in premise, but like, I'm not about to buy a service for one show.
Yeah, I don't know if Powers was actually PlayStation or exclusive to PlayStation Vue, but I knew that was like a PlayStation project.
Yeah,
but fucking Powers, goddammit. We could have gone like the whole life of this podcast without bringing up Powers, and I would have been fine.
Fucked it up.
Yeah, I fucked it up. It's my fault. So next up, this one's for you. Into the Spider-Verse. Chapter 2. Into the Spider-Verse Chapter 2. So apparently a sequel to... Yeah, so a sequel to Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is being teased for April 8th, 2022.
I'm into that. Spider-Verse.
I still need to watch Spider-Verse.
Dude, do you...
I'm going to. Spider-Verse is one of those...
Night.
Yeah, Spider-Verse is one of those movies where it's like, I don't want to just watch this on like a Monday night, you know, coming home from work. This is like I want to sit down and like enjoy the show kind of movie. It's like first on my list for movies that I want to watch. So hopefully, like, you know, this November, this December, on some of these breaks, I'll be able to get through some of this.
Dude, that movie's like an hour and a half long. Sit your ass down and watch it.
Yeah, I will. But so I mean, without spoilers, like, does it end with like an obvious setup for a sequel, or is it just kind of like, hey, we're gonna add some more Spider-Men and just have a good time?
There is a thing after the credits, right?
Of course.
But that thing in and of itself doesn't. The way this movie ends doesn't fully set up for like a sequel, but it's so. And then it ends that like it could be a sequel, no problem, you know.
Yeah.
Like it's not as if half the Spider-Verse cast was killed off or anything. It's Spider-Man.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, the movie won the Oscar for best animated movie, so it's getting a sequel.
It's
you
the
know,
best Spider-Man movie.
it looks like it, honestly. I still think the best Spider-Man movie is Spider-Man 2. That's just me.
That's great. No, you know what? A lot of people would probably feel that way. Although nowadays, a lot more people are like, yeah, what about my Homecoming and Far From Home, though? What do you mean? Right?
Those movies are good. I haven't seen Far From Home early either. It's the only like MCU movie that I haven't seen in theaters for like 10 years. It's kind of crazy. But I plan on having like a Spider-Man weekend where I just watch both those movies and get through the DLC in that PS4 game.
Oh, bet. Yeah, do it. That should be interesting because there were of course a lot of versions of Spider-Man that weren't in there, right? But the one they teased at the end is one that for some Spider-Man fans would be like, it's kind of weird that he's not here, considering the ones that were there, right? And one of the ones that were there specifically that I'm sure you've seen in the trailers and whatnot if you've watched any is Spider-Man Noir, which I thought was really cool.
Yes, Spider-Man Noir like first showed up in one of those
Shattered Dimensions.
Shattered Dimensions. Well, he didn't originate there, but like he first got like a big push, in that game.
And the game is really good, by the way. The game is actually pretty damn good. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, I want to check it out at some point, but that's really cool. We need to get some Spider 2099 in there.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. I don't know. Like when in my mind, I'm like, okay, so we have like zombie Marvel universe, and you could get zombie Peter in there. You have,
dude. Speaking of, have you seen that? Have you seen that panel from it? It's one of the Marvel Zombies like comics, where fucking Sandman. Like actual Spider-Man shows up in the zombie universe, but Sandman thinks it's like zombie Spider-Man, and so he like fills Spider-Man with like a bunch of sand. Like he just pours a bunch of sand like into his mouth, and then there's like 3 panels of Spider-Man where like his stomach is like 400 pounds now, and he's just like oh for like 2 panels, and then his stomach just like bursts with all this sand and shit. It's like so gross. It's so gross, but it's so good.
I have not seen that. I did see that one panel where Peter rips a lady's face off, though. That was cool. That was not zombie, so that was regular Spider-Man.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I gotta. I have to watch the line, and I was looking at it because I watch a lot of Comics Explained, which is always really cool. Look up the Marquis of Death. One of the coolest fucking Marvel villains ever. Up there, in my opinion, with like the Living Tribunal and like the One Above All, as like I can do fucking whatever.
Yeah.
I just do whatever, right? And like that, I really do like a lot of the storylines with Peter, And I have to read more comics, because I feel like I have more of a almost like wiki-esque type of knowledge when it comes to shit. Like you just look shit up,
Yeah.
But you haven't really experienced them yourself, and I have to go back and really do them some justice because there are some really good storylines.
There was like a 2-year chunk of my life, like after high school, where it was like I was in the comic store every week, buying my new issues, and I just kind of fell off of that.
Okay, I gotta get into that. Like I've read a lot of manga, but comics, have always comics have always been something that I appreciated, but like from afar while I do my weed bullshit, you know.
Yeah.
Uh,
They're hard to get into because it's like, where do you start? You know, there's not really a great, like, you know, it's like start with issue 1. Okay, issue 1 of which series, you know?
yeah,
It's not like Berserk
and
where it's like, you know, we'll start with volume 1 of Berserk, like just start there. It's
that's super true.
a little more complicated.
Like I tried to read like before it even came out, like Infinity War and whatnot, and it's like
Mm-hmm.
you have so many different stories being told sometimes by different writers as well, right? And it's like they're all connected to each other, but it's like, but where do I start? Right?
Yeah.
Do I start with Infinity Gauntlet, or do I start with Infinity War, right? And all this other stuff, It's like trying to get into reading House of M and all this other shit, and you're like, bruh. Like it's almost like you're gonna have to look like comics need to be better organized, in my opinion,
Yes, I
for
agree.
people outside of comics.
Yeah, like some of those events get crazy because it's like you have the main event, um, issues, but then like all of the individual heroes, also have, their storylines that are tied to that event in
Mm-hmm.
their individual issues. But it's like, you might be, you might have six issues of an event, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but it might be like, Captain America 43 through 49 that deal with that event and stuff. So it gets kind of crazy. A couple comics that I will recommend are Matt Fraction's Hawkeye. It's very, very, very good, and it's seems to be what the Disney Plus series is gonna take influence from, because the logo is like exactly the same, and Kate Bishop is confirmed to be in that show. So that's a really great comic. Any of Ed Brubaker's Captain America run is very, very good. Very, very, very good. Like
Okay.
Ed Brubaker Captain America is like peak Captain America in my opinion. And it's interesting because halfway through that story, spoilers, like Steve Rogers dies, and Bucky takes over as Cap. And I know a lot of the like replacement heroes get kind of shit on.
Bucky's cool as fuck though. Come on.
Yeah, Bucky Cap is really cool because, in the comics, Bucky's just a dude. He doesn't have like any of the super soldier serum shit going on. And so he takes over for Cap, and one of the first issues where he's taken over as Cap is like, I'm not as acrobatic as Steve was. I'm not as strong as Steve was. I'm not like the peak human that Steve was. So I have to like do shit my own way. And so he's like fighting this dude, and I'm getting there. He's fighting this dude, and he throws the shield, and the shield like misses the guy, and the guy's like, "Ha, you fucking missed." And he's like, "I wasn't fucking aiming at you with the shield," and he like shoots him in the kneecaps with a gun.
Oh,
and it's like, okay, yeah, this is a different. He's fucking beating the shit out of people with his big metal fist. It's really, really good. I'm not always a fan of like, the sidekick taking over as the hero, but I think that's a really good one.
It's happened with Bruce Man quite a bit.
Yeah.
Every now and then. Dick has to step in and be Batman. Not that Dick's ever really excited to be Batman, but he's had to do it every now and then. Nightwing's dope. When he getting his own movie? Make it fucking happen, please. I say that, but then DC's gonna fuck it up. So I don't know. It's kind of that thing with Thanos, and everybody's like, "Hey, at least he exists," but it's like, does he really exist cinematically? That's not Thanos, but okay, it's a guy that looks like Thanos. Sure,
He's Thanos. I think. I mean, we can get into this, but I think for an adaptation, he's fine. It's an adaptation of Thanos, and I think enough of the characteristics are there. I know that his motivations are different, but
that's part of what makes him who he is. Ultimately, his motivations.
Yeah, I mean, I love his fascination with death. I love that he's just like, I love the concept of death, and I want to please like this universal being. I think that's cool as shit. I just think that's hard to do in a movie. I think they found the best way to do him in a couple 2-hour movies.
Oh, I feel like they probably could have in some way introduced death in, like, say, Doctor Strange, since it's out there like that, right?
Yeah. I definitely feel like he didn't smile enough in the movies.
Oh yeah.
We didn't specifically in like Infinity War and Endgame. We didn't get enough of that icon because Thanos has an iconic smile, right?
That man grins with glee.
Yeah, like
he murders you.
Thanos' grin is like one of the most iconic characteristics of Thanos.
People think he actually has to snap his fingers. Finally, that's funny. It's definitely a show of power in a sense. If I could just, and you're gone, right? But it's like he doesn't actually have to snap his finger. He does it because it looks cool. I don't know. I feel like this is a weird sentiment because I really enjoyed. I've only seen the first one, right? I haven't seen Endgame.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoyed Thanos in it, right? So, and ultimately, you might be right. I think you're probably right, right? It is a good adaptation and it works. It's just one of those things that it's like, okay, what if this was a good Spider-Man movie, but we also made it so Spider-Man's like a fucking womanizer, and you're like, but that's not. He doesn't do that. Still a good movie, maybe.
He's not a womanizer, but women definitely come to him. I don't know if you're familiar with Peter Parker's harem of women.
Oh, a little bit.
No, but I think people have this issue where they expect adaptations to be one for one, and when you're moving from one medium to another, you can't always bring things over one for one, and so I think quality is most important, and I think the MC movies have their issues, but I think the quality is there, and so
it's just annoying. Like if they put Galactus in a movie, how are they gonna handle him? Right. Like, how are they going to handle some of these, like, crazy beings that are just more, like, doing bad guy who is, and in the comics, most of them are never just quote-unquote bad guy, right? They have their own convictions and their own reasons for doing what they do. But sometimes, like, you look at, what was, like, Ultron?
Ultron was done pretty poorly, I will say.
Yeah, and it's like there's certain times, and I'm just like, it's just bad guy. He's just bad guy, Well,
Ultron, they tried to make him more like personable, like Loki was, and Ultron is supposed to be just like, nah, fuck you. I'm evil ass robot. I'm not funny. I'm the best in that movie. The best Ultron was when he first like took over that Iron Man bot or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Because when he's got like the lips, when Ultron's got lips, I'm like, I'm not afraid of you, dude. You got fucking metal lips. How am I supposed to be afraid of a dude with metal lips? I don't think so.
Yeah, and you're right. Things can't be 1-to-1, right? In my opinion, sometimes it's like, but this is probably the only time.
Yeah,
and it, along with the first time, and it's. To be fair, it's like ultimately this is the Marvel Cinematic Universe, right? But it doesn't get rid of the fact that this is still in reality first time Thanos has been in like a movie of this scale. And the first time he's been in a movie of this scale, it's not really his character. You know? And that's unfortunate. The things he does are the same for the most part, because as we both know, in like the comics, the movie would basically start at Endgame because he had already done the thing. They were just trying to stop him at that point from finishing the thing.
There was a whole comic series. It was Infinity War is actually a comic series where it explains Thanos, or Infinity Quest, excuse me. Infinity Quest is a comic series where Thanos goes and gets the gems. And it's really cool. He has a really like in-depth explanation of like each of the gems and stuff. So there was definitely, it doesn't just start with God, what is the comic called? Is the comic called?
If,
No, the comic, the series where they fight Thanos is called the Infinity Gauntlet.
yeah.
So there was lead up to that, but I think the biggest issue I have with some of the stuff is when like the movies start influencing the comics, and it's like
no,
I
please no.
I like Star-Lord's. I like Star-Lord's. Jesus. I like his design in the movie. I don't like when I see it in comics. I like my Star-Lord. I like my Star-Lord with his fucking Nazi helmet and the fucking like leg warmers and shit. I think that costume looks way cooler. And I have one of the art books for the first Guardians of the Galaxy, and they have him with the helmet. It's not just the open hair in one of the concepts. And one of the artists said, well, we thought this made him look like too sinister. And I'm like, yeah, he looked fucking badass.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. Star-Lord himself is like, I'm a fucking badass, so he looks like a badass because he thinks he's a fucking badass. Yeah, make him look a little sinister. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, just go for it.
I think
I feel you on that. Don't change it.
I feel the way you feel about Thanos with the Guardians of the Galaxy like uniforms. I think it's a shame that we didn't get like those uniforms for everybody. You know, I think that's just super cool.
You know, I gotta say ultimately, and don't fuck with the comics. Fuck with the movies, if anything.
Mm-hmm. Yep, but Spider-Verse 2.
Right. Tangent aside.
Spider-Verse 2.
I don't
coming.
I don't think they've mentioned any plot elements.
No, I mean it was literally just like
announced.
yeah, it was literally just like here's a date. Which they kind of did for the first Spider-Verse too. I remember they announced that movie like way before it ever came out. So there is that. So next up is Shigeru Miyamoto has been honored with a Japanese Cultural Award. Finally.
Yeah, that's true, right?
So this cultural award, from my understanding, is the award is called Person of Cultural Merit, and my understanding is that it's kind of for the most part been reserved for like artists and stuff like that. You know, like people who like paint and shit like that. I know Miyazaki from Studio Ghibli was honored with this several years ago. I think in like 2012. So it's cool. It's cool to see Miyamoto get that big recognition. I know it's a big one. It's always hard to tell, like with some of these awards and stuff in other countries and stuff, because you can't really understand the context if you don't live there. But from what I've been reading, my understanding is that this is kind of similar to like a knighting in Europe.
What?
Yeah, you know how like you have like Sir Anthony Daniels and like who's the guy that fucking plays Gandalf? God damn it. Ian McKellen, like Sir Ian McKellen, where they like knight people.
Mm-hmm.
You're not like fighting dudes with swords. It's just like, you know, you're.
I dub thee, and they tap the shoulder.
Yeah.
Okay. Seems legit.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's good. I think, you know, I've shit on like SMB1 earlier, but obviously that game is the historical.
At the time, it was still groundbreaking.
Yeah, it's still groundbreaking, and the historical significance of that game, and other games like, you know, Legend of Zelda and Donkey Kong and stuff that he had a hand in, are just still influential to people, and I think he definitely deserves all the awards that he can get. He's also just like a happy dude, you know. Every time I see a picture of Miyamoto, it's like, man, I feel a little happier.
Fair enough. Yeah. I mean, I kind of feel what you said when you were like, finally, because it's like, that's actually surprising. Like, it took this long. Like, it's great that it happened, but like, wow.
Yeah.
I would have thought this man would have got all the awards possible by now.
He's the first person to receive this award in Japan as someone who's related to video games.
Mm.
So I think it's one of those things where, video games have been fighting forever to be considered as art. So,
That's true.
but good
That's
for him.
definitely true.
Good for him.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's proud and happy, and he's only 66 years old, which kind of surprised me. I thought he was older, but that's actually pretty young,
Mm-hmm.
especially for like a Japanese man. Those guys live forever.
That's they eat better than us.
They do. They do. So the next story I have.
Yamato. Good job.
Congratulations. The next story I have is some stuff from Ed Boon. So Ed Boon came out and has a quote where he says, quote, "The story of Mortal Kombat, we're pretty much calling this one the end of the story, but we're certainly not through with Mortal Kombat. There's more characters that are going to come, and we have a big surprise coming next year for Mortal Kombat," end quote. So he's referencing the first fighter pack for MK11, which still has characters to come out, and those are going to be coming out through next year. But when he says we have biggest surprise next year for Mortal Kombat, I don't know how to read this, because it sounds more than just like we're going to announce another fighter pack. It sounds like they're going to do something weird with Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, I don't know.
Hopefully they do like another fucking anthologies game or some shit.
Maybe it's time for another Deadly Alliance. How would you feel about that? I mean, but actually though, especially with like the new characters, players like Cassie.
Oh, like
and,
like the new generation characters.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I haven't played MK11, but I watched, the story, so I know what happens in that story. And, they're saying that that's the end of the story. Kind of the story that they started with MK9, where MK9 was like a almost like a remake of MK1, 2, and 3. And MK10, continued the story, and then MK11 continued from there. And then it ended somewhat definitively, I would say.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting to see them say, like, that's the end of the story. We're going to do something new. And we have a big surprise coming next year. It's like, what does that mean?
And somebody's given the end of the story. It's like they have all the fucking space to do something new, though.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's... Oof. Yeah.
I mean, I think it's good, because I think if they came out and was like, here's MK12, Scorpion is on the box art, our trailer starts with Scorpion and Sub-Zero fighting each other, it's like, okay, enough.
But they'll never really be able to fully get rid of certain characters.
I think they could.
Not that they...
I think they could.
Though. People love... Scorpion, that's like a Street Fighter game without Ken and Ryu.
Yeah. I think they could do like one game without it, right? But at the same time, it's like, why even call it Mortal Kombat at that point?
Yeah,
if you're just gonna have new characters, just make it something else. But
they have to. I mean, they have so much space to do like literally whatever now, that like I would definitely be interested in whatever they choose to do.
Yeah. It would be cool to see them do like a Mortal Kombat game that wasn't a fighting game. Just make like an adventure game, Like, just do it. They did it with
that puzzle game.
Yeah, they had, I think it was the anthologies, and they had Shaolin Monks, which was kind of like a co-op action game, I guess. So it'd be cool to see them do that. But who knows? Ed Boon is like the master of cryptic messages, so who knows what that really means.
This was actually about to happen. Street Fighter cross fucking Mortal Kombat.
I'd be into it.
Are you, though?
If I could take like Banana Hair Ken and rip his stupid banana hair off, I'd be into it.
Oh. Yeah. Yeah, I would too.
It's sad that, like, you know, the Smash Brothers Ken is like looks better than SF5 Ken, but that's where we're at.
It's sad that Ken dyes his hair blonde because he's a coward.
Does he really?
Yeah.
I'm not.
His hair's black.
What is this lore? Explain yourself.
Ken's like half Japanese or something. Something like that. Like his hair is like, if I recall right, his hair is legit like black.
Okay.
Or like a brownish color, and he dyes it.
Well, that's something. I don't know how to feel about that. It is weird. That's one of those things that's like, did that really need an explanation? Can he just be blonde?
That's true. I mean, it's fucking anime, really. If you're gonna, it's anime. His hair could just be whatever, right?
That's some fucking midichlorian shit.
Oh no! Stay away from me with that. Don't talk about that.
I will, trust me. So next up, and this is kind of my last story. It's a couple different stories in one, but BlizzCon happened this past week, and we got some stuff from that.
It's true.
So first we have Overwatch 2 is announced, which was previously teased by ESPN, and I think there were some leaks earlier too. But Overwatch 2 is there's like several different ways I want to talk about Overwatch 2, because the trailer they put out that was basically just a short was really fucking good. All of those short videos are really fucking good, and I think all of these characters are really great. And I'm like so happy for Winston that his friends are finally with him.
Mm-hmm.
I felt so bad for Winston. He's like, I just want my friends to come. Oh, Winston.
Oh,
but you know,
sad.
I think, you know, I'm not like huge in Overwatch. I do like some Overwatch, but I'm definitely more into like the shorts. I think are the best thing to come from Overwatch. I think all those shorts are very, very good. They're very well animated and tell some pretty cool stories. But then we get to the actual game, and it's weird because they're calling it Overwatch 2, but it's more of a. This almost feels more of like a preparation for next gen, because a lot of the stuff that they're adding to Overwatch 2 are also just coming to Overwatch. So they've got like a breakdown here where there's a new game mode called Push, which is basically like the payloads, but you're both trying to push the payload. And so you take it over and you try to push it towards their end.
It's like reverse tug of war.
Yeah, it is like tug of war. And then the other team can take over that point. And there's basically like a robot who pushes a thing, and he's like, I just like to push shit. I don't care who I'm pushing it for, which is kind of funny. But that's a new game mode that's coming. That's also retroactively coming to Overwatch. And then we've got 4 new maps. We've got Toronto, Gothenburg, Monte Carlo, and Rio de Janeiro, which are all coming to Overwatch 1. New heroes, Echo, Sojourn, and obviously more. And those new heroes are also coming to Overwatch 1. It says updated engine, new look and UI. All that stuff's coming to Overwatch 1. And so, all these new modes and stuff are coming to Overwatch 1. The exclusive stuff is the story modes. So these are all new. These are obviously, much requested is having some story modes. And they've tried it with like different events and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But so we've got story modes, we've got hero missions, and then hero talents, which are apparently PvE only, where you like level up your hero and you can like alter their abilities or some shit. But
yeah,
so those are exclusive to Overwatch 2, but Overwatch is still going to be updated, and it says all of your skins, cosmetics, and other progress will carry over to Overwatch 2. So it's weird. They haven't. I don't think they've said anything on like price for Overwatch 2, but this definitely seems more like if you want to keep playing Overwatch, most of the stuff is just going to be free. If you don't have Overwatch, get Overwatch 2 or some shit.
Yeah, I don't know. Like in my mind, I can't help but be cynical about it, and assume it's probably going to cost $60.
Right.
It has a 2 on it. It's going to cost $60. Like, even if there's not a crazy bunch, difference in between the two, even, if it is really just you downloading a single player mode or a PvE mode and what have you, like it has the 2 on it. It's not a DLC, so to speak, apparently. So yeah.
I think it's weird. I don't necessarily think it's like scummy. I've seen some people call this scummy, but it's like Overwatch. Overwatch gave all these free maps, all these free heroes, all these free events and stuff for 3 years, and you didn't have to pay for any of it. And even all of these new modes you don't have to pay for. Overwatch 2 seems mostly for like. It seems like they're not even asking you to like pay for a lot of this. It's like, we're still gonna give you free stuff. So like it's weird. I don't know if it's scummy. Like I don't see this as like a cash grab per se. It's just kind of weird, and I think the messaging is not very good, and it's confusing for sure. But yeah, I don't know.
And they're gonna need to clarify a lot more on, what everything is, what's going to what, and yeah, people need to know. People like transparency. People want to know what they're buying. And in knowing what they're buying, then they can summarize whether or not they feel it's worth their money or not. But
yeah, and I mean, yeah, I mean, you can decide if it's worth your money or not, and even if you decide that the PvE content isn't worth it, it's like, hey, we're still going to give you... I mean, I'm not trying to be like, hey, Blizzard is so fucking generous right now, obviously. But specifically the Overwatch team... okay. So after that, we've got Diablo 4, which I've seen you tweeting about a little bit, so I think you're probably more familiar with Diablo than I am.
Yeah. There is one tweet that I think I can pull up real quick because it just has like bullet point list of important little factoids.
Okay.
But yeah, Diablo 4 was announced.
The one thing I know about this game is that Dusty's like biting my knee. I'm sorry. She loves to fuck with me when I'm sitting in like one place for too long. She's like, dude, you've been sitting there for too long. I'm gonna fuck with you now. But the one thing I've seen about Diablo 4 is that they've said that it's not coming soon, not even Blizzard soon. Which is like, ooh, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I haven't played.
What are you guys doing? I'm sorry.
I haven't played any of the Diablo games. I've been tempted by Diablo 3 many times, but have not jumped in. But this game looks good. I mean, it looks. I love this. I don't know who this demon lady is, but she looks fucking cool as hell with her like blood cape.
Yeah, she does. I'm not off the top of my head. I wouldn't be able to say who that is either. My experience with Diablo goes as far as like playing shit tons of 3, but never touched 1 or 2. Everybody says 2's. A lot of people say 2 is the best. I have no stake in that argument.
I've seen speedruns of Diablo 2 at AGDQ. It's very interesting.
I bet. Sounds weird. I have this list up. We can go over if you think, unless you had something to say.
Yeah, hit me.
So details. And I'm gonna assume this either he's an editorial producer at IGN, so I'm guessing these are just things they picked up.
Probably things that they told him and stuff.
Yeah, so in the demo alone, each class has multiple looks to choose from. Sections of the game are instanced, others are shared world spaces, which was one of the interesting things that I thought was brought up about Diablo 4 in the sense that it has a shared world feel to it.
So
In the demo,
Destiny.
you could see, yeah, like Destiny, honestly. You can see like 10, 20 people on the screen at once fighting a boss, and I'm like, I fucking hate this. I hate that. Like, Diablo is one of those series that's really dark and gritty, and like part of the like setting to it is literally it's the same thing why making like Dead Space co-op is kind of fucking stupid because the feeling of isolation is always gonna be scarier than the feeling of something scary but there's like 10 dudes with me,
Yeah.
you know.
What was the cap on co-op for like Diablo 3? Was it just like 4?
Yeah, it was 4,
Okay.
and I thought that was pretty good, right? You know, um in 4 you could get a nice well-rounded team. You know, there were characters who would, for greater rift pushing, which is what the game basically became. You know, everybody loves their seasons, myself included. I almost gave myself carpal tunnel season 18.
Oh Jesus.
uh, you know, you can make a nice, well balanced team of like somebody actually being support, some people being buffers, some people, you know, being your DPS, others being people who just draw mobs together, like all that stuff, you know. So it's nice to be able to coordinate stuff with 4 people.
Right.
It's interesting to have instance bosses as well and stuff like that, right? But like, I don't, that doesn't feel very Diablo, and apparently they've already sections in this game, at least at the start, cosmetic only. But like, bro,
Yeah, my understanding is that Diablo 3 had a rough launch.
Oh yeah.
And so it feels like they really should try to just knock this one out of the park. I mean, people are going to buy Diablo 4 regardless, I'm sure, but one thing I noticed too is that the art style is pretty significantly different, I think, from Diablo 3. Diablo 3, I think, looks a little more like WoW, kind of, almost.
Yeah, it's a lot more vibrant, if you will.
Yeah, this definitely looks more like grim dark and that kind of art style, so it's interesting.
So that, you know, that was one of the bigger complaints that a lot of like OG Diablo fans had when 3 came out, was like, this feels like you're trying to appeal too hard to a broader audience and not your key demographic, you know, your key group of people who play these games religiously, you know. A lot of people really hated the art style. So I'm sure a lot of people are probably really happy to see this, as the word everybody uses when they talk about Diablo is dark and like gritty art style, you know, which I think it looks nice. I definitely, I see what people mean, and I think it looks nice. I could take either or personally, but you know, it's nice to see it go back to that. There's a few things on this list.
Yeah, go through it.
A really interesting feature, a really interesting one, actually, that I wonder how it's going to play in, because if this was Diablo 3, and if it was just free to do all the time, that would change like greater rift clear times dramatically. Hit space to dash regardless of class. You just have a free dash. And in a game like this, where greater rifts, you know, you might not know, greater rifts are basically, yeah. So in Diablo, you have greater rifts, which are like the leaderboard things, right? When it comes to seasons, right, the general flow of a season is you choose what character you want, try to get to 60 as fast as possible, try to gear up as quickly as possible, get your legendary gems, all that stuff, right? Make sure you have your build ready. And during, you know, the later parts of that setup, finding your items and all that stuff, you are running rifts and greater rifts. Basically, like, a regular rift is kill enemies and try to kill the rift guardian at the end of the rift. You have like a bar you got to fill up as you like progress through floors, and certain enemies in the rifts can give you like these orbs that boost the amount of progression you have on a bar. And it's all nice and well. It's a good way to get loot, right? Just grinding, fighting enemies of a decent level. all that fun stuff. Greater rifts are basically the same thing, except time goes by faster, along with you being timed for leaderboards. Right, you can just run as many rifts as you want, but greater rifts are where it's really at.
Mm.
And greater rifts are, I think they're separated by like maybe not world best, but like regional, like North America, Europe, stuff like that. Um, but yeah, it's basically your time attack. How fast can you beat these rifts? The higher the difficulty, the quicker the bar goes down, and the more efficient you have to be with killing things. All that stuff. So, in what I'm saying, the ability to have as high a mobility to just have a dash all the time would break that, because one of the things people always build for is I need my teleport, or I need my my fucking flaming horse, or
Oh,
whatever have
yeah.
you. You need a mobility ability, because you need to be able to move all the time. When you,
Yeah.
especially in higher levels, you don't have time to dick around. You
Uh,
know, a couple of seconds can fuck you over.
yeah. I mean, I'm sure it'll be balanced to having that dash ability and you know,
I think it's cool. Um, Definitely an eye catcher for me. As somebody who does play Diablo on and off, quite a bit when I do play it.
right.
Uh, but let's blow through some of these, right?
Yeah.
The world is open ended. He says he played a demo twice and did completely different things. I think that's really cool.
Okay.
Um,
So you can just kind
but
of
like,
go around and explore and stuff. There's not like specific like missions and
that's what it sounds like, right? And I think that's pretty cool if that is the case. I wonder if you're going to be going on quests and whatnot, because
I'm sure there'll be quests.
it's always been pretty linear of a game.
Every
So,
game has quests nowadays. Fucking Madden has quests.
oh my, really?
Yeah,
That's crazy.
basically.
Oh, so you have that. Hopefully, some quests, like you said. There's public event slash bosses. And the one that most people thought was apparently pretty difficult and required a ton of players. And I saw a little bit of that. I was watching a YouTuber that I frequent who does a lot of Diablo content named Bloodshed.
Mm.
He was at BlizzCon. He was playing it and whatnot. Game looks amazing, by the way. But we've spoken on that. Boss fights are mechanically rich with lots of telegraphed projectiles to dodge. So you're getting a little shmup-esque, right? Diablo 3 had a lot of things to dodge from enemies. Enemies had certain patterns and whatnot they would use sometimes.
Okay.
I think about fighting Malthael, think about fighting, Adria, and a few of these other bosses that really utilize tons of projectiles to fight you. Malthael was a son of a bitch at times. That's gonna be really cool. Bosses have a stun bar that fills into a stun phase. I think that's
Is that just like a hey, the boss is stunned, like do damage now, like wail on it?
yeah, like it almost reminds me of Monster Hunter
Okay.
in the way that's phrased, right?
Or like Destiny raids, where it's just like do the thing, stun the boss, now like dump on it.
Yeah, it'd make Crota take a knee type of
Yeah.
shit. Yeah, so that's gonna be interesting. I'd like to see how that's implemented. People are gonna big brain a way to just spam that, and unless he starts building up resistance like Monster Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be pretty interesting to see what they do with that. Rune words from LOD, and I'm not sure what that stands for because I'm not the biggest Diablo fucking, because I'm fake. Are back.
I believe that
LOD.
stands for Legends of Diablo. Yeah, that's what that stands for.
Rune words from Legends of Diablo are back
Yeah.
and work like an algorithm.
Legends of Diablo was the comic series, so it's cool to see them tie in some of that comic stuff in the actual main game.
That is actually cool, and I
Yeah.
like the way these work. because they're kind of like gambits from 12, FF12.
Mm.
So the way these rune words work are like an algorithm with some setting like an if condition, like drink a potion, right? Other settings, a then result, gain increased crit percentage, as an example, right? So I like that, the idea of creating a cause and effect mechanic in your game, apparently, right?
Yeah.
Or yeah, that's very Gambit like, you know. In FF12, you can have it said so like if a party member goes below 75%, apply cure and stuff like that. And it seems like you're gonna be able to do stuff like this, and I think that's really cool.
That sounds complex. One of the things that I always like when I look at Diablo 3, it's just like when I look at gameplay of Diablo 3, it's like what is happening? I'm sure it makes sense when you're playing the game, but whenever I look at it, it's just like what there's so much visually going on right now.
Oh, once you got the hang of it, it's totally like I feel bad because when Pip Girl was playing with us, Luke and I, we really did, because he plays at it well. We both went into autopilot mode, and she's like, "Dude, what are you guys doing?"
Yeah.
I don't play this game, and it's
Yeah.
like, you gotta keep up. So I could definitely understand that perspective. I never would have thought that I would have gotten into Diablo, but then I played the demo on PS3 years and years ago and was like, this is actually pretty fun. So, and at that point, I'd never even heard of Diablo. Aside from like when 3 came out, it did gangbusters. Know about that, but
Diablo is that series that you see in the store with your mom. Your mom's like, you can't play that game. That's that evil PC game.
Is that Diablo?
Like,
yeah, that's
come on, Mom. But like Satan's on the cover. It looks so cool. Like, no, it's too mature for you.
Okay. Exactly. Oh my god. This guy was able to pick up a lot of little features and whatnot. You can hit tab to open the map and social panel where you can invite nearby players to a party, which kind of reminds me of like Destiny, of being able to like hover over someone's name and whatnot and just like right click on the stick and pull up the menu and whatnot to just invite them and do all that fun stuff.
Yeah, making that stuff more convenient is always a good thing.
Yeah, especially if people are going to be running around on the Overwatch. I hate this so much. Whatever. If they're going to be doing that, it's nice to have a feature just readily available to just do the thing. Maybe send fucking friend requests to each other through Blizzard's launcher as well. Who knows, right? But it's cool to have nonetheless, right? You can invite nearby players. Skill points distribution is similar to Diablo 3. I mean Diablo 2 rather. And I'm not sure how that goes exactly, so that's pretty interesting to me as, again, someone who's never played Diablo 2. I'm pretty interested to know what that's like. Skills are separated into categories with different names, and every class has ultimate skills, like the Druid's Cataclysm or Barbarian's Wrath of the Berserker. So that sounds like skill trees and branches. I mean, that could be interesting, right? But that sounds like you're really, really gonna have to, unless you could just respec whenever and interchange skills like in Diablo 3, you're really gonna be in there for that one specific playstyle with the character, right? That could be fun.
Yeah, my understanding of Diablo games is that they're very RPG heavy, and there's a lot of character customization and stuff to tweak and stuff to min max and stuff like that. Dude. So
numbers go up is what that game is. 100, bro. If I could get a sword that is like 5% better, yes. This is the game for people who like numbers to go up and like to grind. 100%. The grind can get tedious sometimes, but it's there for those who like it.
I do like some grinding sometimes. I do.
Dude, every season. every season. I'm there. Then I got carpal tunnel, and I'm like, bruh, I got the Greater Rift 92. That's good for me.
Oh, Jesus.
Apparently, the highest some people have gotten to was like 120. So I'm like, that's not terrible for me.
Yeah, that's not far off.
You know, and I'm proud of that.
Probably Game
I was
Shark
just,
did, but
oh my god, fuck you. You know, if this was console Diablo 3 is riddled with people who cheat.
oh, I
It's
bet.
actually sad. It's really crazy.
Really,
But we're almost
console more
done.
than PC?
Way more than way more. There are some people who are like, I will never ever play this game on 100% way more.
That's interesting because
Way-
usually it's the
gross.
opposite.
It seems like Blizzard's way quicker to ban somebody on, PC. Honestly, like the amount of people who play Diablo 3 on PC far exceeds those who play on console, I would imagine. Even like Xbox and PS4 combined, admittedly. So
Yeah.
it's like it wouldn't be too surprising to me, considering how they actually do keep up with maintenance of their servers and all this other stuff. People can easily go to leaderboards, inspect your gear, look at what skills you had, all types of stuff. It's not as easy to cheat on PC, basically, I would say. Or rather, it may be just as easy, but you're far more likely to get caught.
Yeah.
And that may deter some people.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Let's see. We have like 2 more things here.
All right, hit me.
As a druid, which druid is back, and a lot of people have been asking for that. I saw some gameplay of that, and it looks so fucking cool. As a druid, many basic skills like shred and pulverize actively shapeshift you into a different form when they're used. I saw, as an example, seamless transformations between like a werewolf and a giant bear and all these other things with the druid and whatnot. That was really, really cool.
Okay. Druids are cool. I played a druid in D&D a few years ago.
Oh, nice.
You got some cool stuff.
I'm really excited to see what the druid can do. Which, by the way, just a little side note. There was a lot more I noticed, like interaction with the environment when you use certain skills. Like I saw Bloodshed, he was playing the sorceress, like call down a lightning storm, and like other parts of the environment would become smoldered, and pieces of rock would get blown off boulders and other stuff. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's nice.
I like that little nice touch of detail.
It's immersive gaming for you.
Oh my god, yeah. I have to wonder, with any press conference, showing off anything new, what graphics cards you're using, all that good stuff, because I know it might not.
Oh, it's always the best. It's always the best.
Yeah.
It's the best you could possibly buy, especially for PC games. It's like this is running on the best PC that has ever existed.
Yeah, we got 2 Titan X's in there. Necessary? Not at all. So that's always a concern of mine, but I'm sure it'll be. They haven't released any specs, of course, requirements. And the last thing we have on there is he mentions that he got a legendary staff called Thunderstone, which, considering how far off Diablo is, all of this is subject to change. But it's called Thunderstone for the druid, which called a bolt of lightning every time he shapeshifted. This altered how he played a lot. And considering a lot of skills for the druid apparently are just like you passively shapeshift, because this skill requires you to be in this form, and in that form it seems like you're like the bear form has different skills from the wolf form and all this other stuff. You could possibly be to use other forms shapeshifting in between rapidly sometimes, and if that's the case, that could be a really useful just passive thing to have happening, just lightning striking down all around you.
Yeah, passive skills are always the best.
In Diablo 3, I had a belt that would cause meteors to rain from the sky every like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And it was pretty fun. But yeah, those are the little tidbits I have for Diablo 4. That's a lot of interesting stuff that I'm really interested to see how it's implemented. I noticed there appeared to be like 1 or 2 cutscenes as well that were far more first person, so to speak,
Oh,
and
really?
scripted kind of, right? And I thought that was really cool because in Diablo 3, a lot of the times you'll have in between acts, right? Which are like the big breakups of chapters. We're moving to a new tile set, a new map. In between some of the acts, At certain main plot points of the story, you'll get a cutscene, but not very often in Diablo 3. So I have to wonder how often you'll get cutscenes in this, especially considering like the game looks so nice, you know.
Yeah.
And in Diablo 3, a lot of the cutscenes were like this like comic style, like it almost like you were drawing on a scroll-esque like art style. And these appear to be like in-engine cutscenes. So we'll
That's
see.
cool. That's cool. Yeah. This game is probably very far away. It's probably very, very, very far away, and I'm interested in it. I mean, I've always been on the edge of breaking into Diablo. So who knows? It might be my time with it, or it might not. But it's cool. I think it looks cool for people who are fans of Diablo, and I know that they've been waiting for this for a long time. I think for a big sequel again. So yeah, that's cool.
2012, I believe. I genuinely would enjoy playing Diablo 3. Well, wait. PC or PS4?
Are you asking me?
Yeah. It actually works quite well on console. Like, it feels comfortable as hell. The only thing specifically that it's ever bothered me and that I've longed for in terms of Diablo 3 on console is using certain abilities, right? Like, the Witch Doctor has abilities where he, like, throws pots as like a basic attack, so to speak. And the pots are like filled with spiders that attack people. Now there's like other types of stuff, and it's like you can lock on enemies on console, and as you on PC you can literally just click to whoever, and I think that's more useful.
Yeah.
Basically, but it still works fine. You just turn your character in the direction of where you want to throw. It's fine.
Yeah, I mean anything for me is going to be console. I don't really have a PC I can play games on at the moment.
Oh, yeah, it's
but
true.
I did play. Did you ever play that game, Marvel Heroes? It was like a free to play game. It was like apparently like Diablo-esque.
I feel like I did play a game like that, and it had tons of people, and I had like Spider-Man and Deadpool on my team and stuff.
Yeah, it had tons of characters and it had tons of skins, and it was shut down I think last year, but yeah, that was an okay game. I remember most of my time in that game was like because it was free to play, so it was like to get more characters you had to buy for them, or you had to grind for like this Infinity Shard item, and so I remember spending like 20 hours grinding for an Infinity Shard so that I could buy like one character. And I bought Thor and I played as Thor and it was cool, but
that's Twitch affiliates. I mean, fucking, oh my god. Yeah, I'm having a stroke. That's free to play games for you. Do 20 hours to get one thing.
Yeah.
That's Warframe in a nutshell. I'll tell you for free.
God.
Oh my god, fuck Warframe.
Dude, I played Warframe on Switch and like I only played a few hours, but there's no way. I mean, I'm sure the game is way better on console, but like that's one of those games that's just like it just puts you in. And there's 1,000 things to do, and I never know if I'm doing the right thing. I never really know like what the next step to take is, and those games are for someone, but they're not for me. I don't need a game to hold my hand, but I can't just like spend.
The game is worse than Dark Souls.
Yeah, I can't be like. I can't be like 30 hours into a game and still not really know like what I've been doing,
That's Warframe.
But
and
Warframe does.
I had that problem too.
Warframe does get a lot of cool like updates. Like I feel like every other month I see like some huge update and they add some brand new fucking feature. Like they add space battles and fucking open world maps, and it's like okay. I mean, they're doing it for the people that like that game. They're really giving it to them. So that's cool.
That's the. We'll get into that on another day because I have some words about Warframe. As someone who's played tons of Warframe, like not even just random tertiary thoughts. Like I've played that game, and that game structure is like precarious at best sometimes. Like it's not great. That's a game that feels like it doesn't know what it wants to be at times, and it's like somebody they were sitting in a room coming up with ideas, and somebody said, "Wouldn't it be cool if blank?" But they never fleshed it out.
Yeah.
That's Warframe.
Yeah, that's a Warframe.
You can put a hat on your robot though.
Yeah, you can dress up your robot doll. Isn't that fun? I tried to dress up my Warframe as like Virgil, but it didn't really work. I made it like I made it like blue and yellow, Yeah. It was like blue with like yellow trim, and I don't know. It kind of worked, I guess. I don't know.
Warframe is definitely for a certain group of people, and it's a game that I wish I liked more, but I would like more if the bad parts about Warframe are really bad, and it makes it not fun to play overall,
Right.
Unless you like those bad parts, and then it's fine for you. Warframe is the type of game where whenever I think about it, I'm always like, I wish I could take this character out of this game so I can use him in a different game because he's just so cool. It all feels like wasted potential sometimes.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, that's all the news stories that I had. I don't know if you had anything to bring.
I had one specifically, and I had forgotten where I put it.
What you got?
About Hearthstone Grandmasters.
Oh yeah. Was that like it's like the second woman to ever win like an esports event or something?
Yeah. Esports history in the making. Chinese Hearthstone Grandmaster player. How do I have Viloon? It's like uppercase V, uppercase L, I-O-O-O-N.
I can't help you there.
Vloon. I'm going to say, I'm sure I'm butchering it. I'm sorry. But she just became the first woman to win a major BlizzCon championship and the first woman to win a major Hearthstone championship. Which, congratulations to her. I've always thought Hearthstone was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Not exactly for me, but I gave it the old college try. It was pretty fun.
I have not tried it. I wish it would come to like Switch. That's a game I would play on Switch.
That's a mobile game, and in a good way. That game feels like, I want to play this on mobile.
Yeah,
because it's just like touch the card and put it on the thing.
Yeah, that's cool though. It's cool to see kind of esports. Esports really is growing.
Yeah.
So
it feels weird because esports doesn't really get a push outside of people within esports. There's no people in like regular sports, so to speak, or anything. Not that I think they should or would, but no one being like, hey, you guys get in, you guys come over here and you can hang out with us football guys or anything like that, unless there's something to gain. But
yeah, it's definitely a niche of a niche.
Yeah,
so
definitely getting bigger though.
Congrats to her. It's cool to see stuff like that.
Yeah,
so
that's it.
Okay. Well, that's going to wrap it up for all our news then. So, once again, we're going to do our shilling portion of the podcast. So, tell the people where they can find you. Tell the people what you're going to be streaming coming up here.
So, first off, you can always find me at twitch.tv/HibariSama _ Don't forget the underscore. Or twitter.com/HibariSama also _ I stream on Twitch every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 3 to 8. I'm losing my mind. And we're picking up with Dishonored, and we have some Pokemon. Might be streaming today. I don't know. I'm really tired. But we're playing Pokemon Platinum. Randomized Nuzlocke, and that's been a fucking blast. So has Dishonored. At one point, we might play New Vegas or Outer Worlds. Who knows? It's
I saw Scott playing Outer Worlds, and I was like, "Yeah, that's the game for him."
Yeah, oh my god, is it the game for him? Yeah.
I really
sci-fi. Yeah.
I really want to get there. I was looking forward to that game. It's just like, don't have time for it right now. but it's on my list.
It's a game that I've in some ways been passively like doing what you do with games.
Media blackout. Like,
yeah, I know some things, and it's like I'm okay that I know those things, but I'm not gonna look for anything myself, you know. And just one thing alone, you know, the one mechanic in that game, I find to be so fucking cool. If you don't mind me talking about it real quick,
go for it.
It's like the way traits work. So if they're like, hey, we noticed that like you kind of suck at this, right? They'll be like, we'll give you a skill that helps you with that, but kind of like in Darkest Dungeon, but you got to take a negative trait too.
Oh yeah, I love stuff like that.
Oh, I love it. You know,
the game definitely seems to have a lot of cool like RPG elements, not just in like combat and stuff, but in dialogue. I was seeing that like you can set up your character to be fucking dumb, and he has just like low intelligence, and he just has like really dumb dialogue options.
Yeah, I think that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to try that out. We'll see when that happens, but yeah, we're gonna be playing more Dishonored and more Pokemon Platinum randomized Nuzlocke. So again, that's at twitch.tv/Shibarusama_. And yeah, come check me out. I do the thing real good, like.
You do the thing. You do the thing somewhat good, like. No, you're very good. I think you're very entertaining. I think your streams are definitely pretty cozy. So
yeah, most definitely.
People should definitely check you out. And it's great when the sex slaves come by too. That's always a good time. So I will be somewhat winding down the streams for the end of the year. So I'm going to be again mostly streaming on Fridays and Saturdays. Probably going to take next week off. The podcast will still be recorded next week, obviously, but I likely won't be streaming anything for until the week after next. And I'm going to be playing MGS2. That's the next on the list. Really excited to get into that.
Yeah, hurry up. I want that so bad.
Yes, I will give it to you. Don't worry. So that's on SuperHypeGaming at Twitch. You can also find me on Twitter at SuperHypeGaming. Again, my Twitter content, I say this every week, my Twitter content is probably the best content that I put out. It's better than all of my streams. It's better than this fucking podcast for sure by a big margin. This podcast,
easily. This
podcast fucking sucks. And if you've listened to this far, I'm sorry. It's funny. I know Blue listens to the whole podcast because last time we were talking about his balls like at a random part in the middle of the podcast. And he messaged me about it. He's like, "Oh, I got big balls, huh?" It's like, okay, that's fair.
I had to bring up to him that the last episode I recorded was 1 minute longer than the one you guys did.
I know, I saw that too. It's funny. That's pretty good.
Sad about it.
So yeah, you can find me there. Just want to say thank you again to everyone that came by for the extra live stream. Everyone that donated, but definitely big thanks to Blue Chromed. He was the MVP of that stream, donation wise, and just hanging out with me. We'll have to do it again. I think it was really fun. We'll definitely do it next year. Extra Life, I think you can stream for Extra Life all year round. They just kind of make a big push for it in November.
You didn't. Speaking of that, we didn't talk about that, did we? The reason the site was down so much was they got DDoS.
Yes. I saw that. Really sad. Really just like I'm a villain, you know, like I'm a fucked up fucking asshole dickhead demon, but that's just, you know, that's not right. Don't do that.
Get help. Get help. That's the most petty, like, fucking find a life shit in the world, but
yeah, so the Extra Life website was down for a long time. I started at like 9:30, and it was down for like 5 hours, and they did finally get it back up, which was good. But yeah, they said that they were DDoS attacked, which is just really unfortunate. It's not, that's not the time to do it. That's, you know, these are like dying children, and it's not right. That's not right.
Yeah, you want to go troll, go like fucking take down Sony servers. No one cares. They're always down anyway.
Yeah, take down the Fallout 76 servers. It's probably
Oh my god! Yes.
It's probably way easier too. You know, it's probably way easier to take down those servers than fucking Extra Life. But yep, that's this podcast. So we're gonna end. I'm gonna grade you on your SAT prep. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So I heard you use the word. I think it was a little forced. So unfortunately, I'm gonna fail you.
As expected.
Yeah, you're gonna get failed. So I'm gonna give you a hokey video game line, and we're gonna close the podcast out on this line. So I'm gonna post this in show chat. So thank you guys for coming by. Hobari, thank you again for joining me. You're always a great guest. I always love having you. And
I am always a great guest. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm. And here's your line.
Ooh. Hell yeah. Let me read it. Sorry, not open for business yet. I haven't even picked the name for this joint, and I'm already getting calls. That's my real life. That's not even a quote.
We are the 7 continents of the world you live on. Let's learn about the continents together as one. The continents we know today were once called Pangea, which formed long ago, about 300 million years. Pangea was the beginning before the continental drift, first proposed in 1912 by a meteorologist. The word Pangea was given by Alfred Wegener. Pangea means all lands because they were stuck together. Most of Pangea sat in the southern hemisphere, surrounded by an ocean called Panthalassa, you see here. 200 to 175 million years ago is when the supercontinent started to break up. Now you know. This breakup is now explained by plate tectonics rather than Wegener's concept of continental drift. We are the 7 continents of the world you live on. Let's learn about